guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm a little bit under the weather, but the wind is blowing today. Actually really bad. It's actually really cold. Anyway, so this is probably going to be the last time you're going to see this car. The 1988 Buick Reatta, whatever you want to call it. It's got the 3800 V6, as all of them did. So I'm pretty much done with it at this point. I told you I'd make a video of the very ending of the final before it was to go back to the original owner. Or not the original owner, but the guy that has it. So he can finish the car and do whatever else he wants to do to it, because I have other work to do and other things to do, as well as my own personal projects. So this needs to go. So when I started with this car I'd say about 3 months ago now, somewhere around it didn't drive in months, or no, actually years. I'd say somewhere around 3 to 10 years by the dates on the code of the tires. So he said he put a pump in it sometime years back, and then it died again. The pump did. And well, I put a pump in it. I put a gas tank in it because of the rust. It needs a sending unit because the sending unit's rusty, and the wire for the gas gauge part of the sending unit to tell the readings on the dash, because it's all digital, is broke. So you'll never ever know what readings the gas tank has. And the cluster's messed up and the radio doesn't work. And I could fix that by putting another one in it, and that's all I can do. I took the cluster apart and tried to fix it, but that was just a no-go. That was a waste of time. There's rust all in it. Looks like it got moisture in it somehow, and it's just ruined. Anyway, so anyway, it has a new gas tank, a new fuel pump, a new fuel filter, which was broken because the filter was jingling around when I took it out. Then it followed up as more things went wrong. You know, I mean, it's going to happen because things sit for years, and especially something that's old and it sits, that's not good for them. Things start to go bad. Hoses, seals, like transmission seals, engine seals, gaskets, you name it, it's going to happen. Anyway, so get it running, kind of get it driving, and there's an engine noise, like bearing wise, and come to find out it was the water pump. So I put another water pump in it, and so put another pump in it. Very easy to change on these, well, really easy. Then I put a serpentine belt on it, and I also changed the idler pulley because it was bad. Put another battery in it. This is a used battery from a guy that's down here that refurbished batteries. Flushed the cooling system, put a new radiator cap. Does need another dog bone mount. That's shot. But anyway, air filter's been changed already, so I didn't have to change that. And I checked it to make sure there wasn't no squirrels or nothing in that. Changed the outer air control valve. I cleaned the mass airflow sensor. Replaced the brake hoses front and the rear because they were old, dry cracked, and rusted. They could pop any moment. It was low on transmission fluid, so I topped that off, but it's still got a problem. Either the modulator valve is bad, or it's got a transmission seal leak on this side. The CV axle seal on the side of the trans needs to be replaced, but I'm not going to do that because I don't have time. The part for the mechanism of the shifter down here, see my fingers, that part's broke, and it doesn't, that needs to be replaced. The little bushing went bad, and it needs to be replaced because it doesn't stay on. It pops off, just why I just had to push it back on. That needs to be done. But anyway, replaced one of the injectors in the front, and that fixed a misfire that I had. I didn't do a tune-up. He didn't want to do that, so I left it alone. I did change the oil because it was nasty and black. Replaced the relay for the fuel pump. and replaced some vacuum hoses and stuff that I found, whatever else that it needed. And that's pretty much really it. That's not much that I've done. But I have done a lot of diagnosing, a lot of cleaning. I've detailed the car, I've cleaned the inside, I put the car back together because it was in pieces when I got it. I mean, I've done a lot. I fixed the gas door, this electronic, that works, the trunk. I also fixed the brake lights. The brake lights didn't work when you applied the brakes. The switch went bad, so I went to the junkyard because there was another Reatta and got that switch. Put it in here and it fixed the issue. I don't know what else is left on this thing. I mean, there is some stuff, you know, small tranny leak, which is from the CV axle seal, and needs tires. It needs rotors and brakes and stuff like that, and it needs the cluster and all that stuff done and replaced. I like this part here that GM did. Whenever you put it in gear and the lights are on at night, the part that you see that's white around each number lights up to let you know what gear you're in. That is really, really cool. I wished like Chevy Celebrities or the other vehicles from the 80s and 90s did this setup, because it's like a green tint color, so whenever you go around, I mean, it's really, really cool. That shows up. It's got power windows and mirrors and door locks and seats, and I mean, this whole thing is loaded. I put mats in here from another Buick just for now, so I wouldn't ruin his new carpet, because this does have brand new carpet. And but anyway, I'm gonna fire it up. Nothing lights up. You can't see anything. The only thing that does light up barely is the mileage, which is 139,000. The trip meter over here, and then the gas gauge that has no reading because the sending unit's broke. And you can barely see the speedometer, but it all has to be completely at nighttime in the dark. You can't see it any other time. Fires right up. I do need to go ahead and finish putting the bottom of the dash back together. He didn't have the screws or nothing, and the covers were already removed when I got the car, so I got to finish and put that back together before he picks it up in a couple days. Tuck all this back up. I have all the pieces. Here's this piece. Kind of goes like that. Some big screws. I'll find something to make it work. And then this cover, it goes in this area. That light goes in it. So anyway, I'll finish all that up off camera. I'll vacuum it up, clean my mats up. I got another set of mats like this I'm gonna put in it. I'm gonna put these in the Celebrity, I believe. I like the color, and they're really, really soft to the touch. The glove box works. The lock and key for it, the lug nuts are in there. Owner's manual, all that stuff. The light works. This is pretty cool. But the only thing about this car, and the owner knows it, because I'm going to make sure I have it in writing just so I don't get blamed for it, the radio doesn't work. Now on these cars, you see it has gauges. That tells your temperature, your battery voltage, the anything wrong with the engine related, because it does have that option, the radio, climate control for heat, AC, defrost, any of that stuff, blower motor, none of that will work because this doesn't work. Cassette won't work. The cluster doesn't work. None of the dummy lights work. Check engine light, oil pressure readings, ABS, any of that stuff. Nothing works. You're driving around with a car that you don't know what anything is doing. It could be overheating. It could have shitty oil pressure for all I know. But there's no noises from the engine, but that's still not great. I would never be driving around something this old around town anywhere without knowing what anything is doing. I'm not one to do that. But that's on him. That's what he wants to do. That's his car. So he already knows. The trunk, doesn't work. You got to use the key. I don't know what that problem is. I think it has something to do with the switch. The fog lights work, lamp retract works, glove box works, and the fuel access works. The rear defrost for the back window works. The wipers work. Low, high, medium, pulse, headlights, hazard, all that stuff works. Just the part for right here where the AC and heat and all that other stuff in the front defrost blower and all that doesn't work. So I think it's like $150 for another cluster on eBay, and somewhere around close to that on for the radio. I had all this apart one time and it's rusty all back in there, so it's really not pleasant at all. This car looks like it had, like the windows have been left open and water got in somehow, somewhere. I had to glue this rear glass, I mean all the way around, because water was leaking in. You could push the glass in and out. Water was going in between the seal, getting inside the headliner, and then leaking down into here and filling this up with water. And here's the other motors for the headlights, because one of them doesn't come up all the way by itself. You kind of have to help it. ATF fluid that I've used for it. Runs perfect. Honestly, if it was me and I had this, I would probably either find some mechanical gauges to put in it and then either buy another cluster off of eBay and just be done with it, or, because it's so old, so rare, and hard as crap to get any parts for it, they only made these cars for 4 years, I would pull the drivetrain out and get rid of the car. Very touchy. But yeah, that's exactly what I would do. I'd put it in something else, like maybe even my celebrity perhaps, you know, or something else that I could find. Because the drivetrain in this, I have nothing against. It's perfect. 3800 with the automatic trans, nothing wrong with it. But the car, I don't like. I'm not a fan of these. I never knew about them. Never heard of them until he brought me this. But let it sit here and warm up, charge the battery, and yeah, because it does have a problem of killing the battery overnight, and now all of a sudden it quit doing that, because a few days ago it killed the battery twice, and now it's not doing it again. So I don't know, it's got some weird issues. That's why I say I would not be wasting my money and time putting it into this car, because it ain't worth it. Yeah, they're rare and yeah, they're expensive online, what I've seen that people are selling these for, but I would not be paying those prices. I just would not be. I like the steering wheel, that's pretty neat. Leather wrapped, and it's, you know, it's pretty cool. But it's, you know, it's a pretty cool car from the 80s, but as far as making it a daily or driving it a lot, yeah, not really. Me either, because some of these switches are going bad too. This hazard, I can't touch it, but it sticks. And those are like $75 a piece for that switch and this switch on eBay. Cluster's $150, radio somewhere around $200. There's no telling what else is expensive that you can't find, so you'll have to pay high prices to get. I know the radio will work. I've tried it one time like this. I looked it up on Google, figured out where the on and off button of the radio was and where the up and down volume buttons were to be if it was lit up, and I actually got it to come on and play. But once I got it on, I couldn't turn it off. I had to disconnect the battery again. But anyway, I think it's going to do it for today's video. Probably be the last time you'll ever see this car again. Sad to say, I know, but I can't keep them all. I got too much other things to work on, and this needs to go. So, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. I appreciate it. I really fighted with this car to get it to where it is now. And have any questions or comments, leave them in the bottom. I'll try my best to get to them. And as always, hit that subscribe button so every time I upload, you get the notification for more content like this, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day or night. I will catch you in the next one.